Welcome back to the channel and welcome back to another UFC fight prediction video. In this video, I'll be predicting the four-card fights for UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Murphy. So without further ado, let's get to our first fight on the card. So let's scroll all the way down. First fight on the card, we have in the women's strawweight division, we got Lookboonmee versus Estela Nunes. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going average confidence, Lookboonmee to beat Estela Nunes. And it's a good average confidence. A good average. It could be high, but it's a good average confidence. Don't want to go too crazy with women's MMA, especially when it's not a perfect stylistic matchup. But yeah, a very good average confidence. And Lookboonmee to beat Estela Nunes. I think Lookboonmee is just a better overall fighter. Nunes may have a grappling advantage, even if that, I doubt it. I haven't really seen her look to use that at all. Lookboonmee has, some very high level Thai boxing. Very good trip, so she should be able to control where this fight takes place. She has a very good center of gravity. It's very hard to, unless you're a real skilled wrestler, it's very hard to, get her off her base and put her on her butt with a takedown. And Estela Nunes, again, has not really shown any great grappling. Lookboonmee is a better striker. She has the better ability to get this fight to the ground if she wanted to get to the ground. She has shown more grappling offensively than Estela Nunes. And on top of that, Estela Nunes, she's not that bad of a fighter, but thing is, she can look pretty decent, like a decent, okay fighter, but for like a round or so. But she has not shown good, consistent cardio. She fades. She's an okay, decent fighter for like a round, and after that, she just falls apart. And I think Lookboonmee could beat her every single round, and I think she could especially take advantage of Estela Nunes is falling apart, as she has in many fights. And that's what I see Lookboonmee just being ahead from the start. Just picking apart Estela Nunes, and when Estela Nunes starts to fade, I see Lookboonmee being able to put her away. Could see a sub, so be on the lookout for that. But I'll say third round TKO for Lookboonmee, just picking apart Estela Nunes and putting her away. So in this one, I have Lookboonmee via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's strawweight division. We got Vanessa Demopoulos versus Talita Alencar. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Vanessa Demopoulos to beat Talita Alencar. When I look at Alencar, she's just one-dimensional. I feel like she hasn't really shown very much striking. She has pretty high level BJJ. But she's undersized. I really don't see the upside. It's not like she's this young up-and-coming fighter who has such a high ceiling she can improve this. I feel like she's kind of already into her 30s, like 33, 34. Don't got size, don't got lift. She's not well-rounded. She has one discipline, and she's not even, as far as, maybe they just did a pure BJJ competition, maybe she'll have a chance. Well, she has a chance, obviously, here. But, it will be a more interesting chance, if it's a pure BJJ. But she's so limited. And it just really struggles to find the upside. There's a chance Demopoulos could just show zero fight IQ and just stumble to the ground or something, or take her down and whatever, and just brain just check out, and she just get caught up in submission. That could definitely happen. I'm not super high on Demopoulos here by no means, but yeah, I just really struggle to find the angle for Talita Alencar. But I'll go Vanessa Demopoulos. She's the much more well-rounded fighter. She should be able to control where this fight takes place. I don't even feel like Alencar even has good, she doesn't have decent takedown offense. And I feel like Demopoulos, as far as her grappling, her wrestling, her BJJ, I feel like pure BJJ, Alencar is the better pure BJJ practitioner. But it's not like Alencar, again, doesn't have a great ability to get you to the ground to even use her grappling like that. So Demopoulos can address that grappling. And feel like the bigger, stronger, more well-rounded fighter. And just be able to pick apart Alencar. And I'm going to say she gets a stoppage over Alencar. I think Alencar is tough and all, but again, just very limited, very one-dimensional. She's, she probably has the BJJ advantage, but she seemingly has really no way to get to the ground, no trustworthy, consistent way of getting to the ground because you don't have their offensive wrestling ability. So, yeah, I think Vanessa Demopoulos is going to be too well-rounded for her, too experienced, and be able to pick her apart, I don't know what words I'm trying to say, impose her physicality on her, and I say a stoppage. So Vanessa Demopoulos, I'm going to say second round TKO. So in this one, I got Vanessa Demopoulos via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Victor Henry versus Pedro Falcao. And how do I feel about this one right here? is I'm going low confidence Victor Henry to beat Pedro Falcao. And really, this could be average, could even be potentially high, but low is more than enough. Henry has not been that trustworthy. Like, he has had a couple little good performances here and there, then he has had some very disappointing performances. That's all I can say. And one of them is definitely his last fight. So I'm not going to be like, even though it seemed like a good stylistic matchup, a good style matchup, it's not like Henry's just trustworthy. Oh, this guy's 28, 27, or 23, 24, or whatever. You know, he has a high ceiling. He's going to do this and all that and stuff. He just had one little setback, two little setbacks. He's a young guy. Now, this guy's a veteran. He is who he is. He's only going to get it worse, pretty much. Like, not to say he's going to get so much worse, but there is not no upside. Like, there's this young prospect that has a high ceiling and going to keep growing. Like, he is who he is, for better or worse. But yeah, going against Pedro Falcao, I feel like Falcao hasn't really shown too much great striking. I feel like his striking level is pretty limited. And, you know, he does have some good BJJ. Hey, you know, Henry is coming off submission loss, so that might be a good thing for him. But it was more so a mixture of the arts that led to Henry getting submitted in his last fight. He lost a striking battle, got frustrated, tried to grapple, and then got caught in submission. Falcao don't really have the striking from what I've seen, to be honest. Who knows? He might got a little bit of power, might be able to connect on him. But as far as technical skills on the feet, I feel like it's very limited. I feel like Henry's just a much more well-rounded fighter. He has shown good takedown defense, has shown good takedown offense. For the most part, has shown good grappling, offensively and defensively. And again, his last loss was due to the mixture of the arts, and largely him losing the striking battle and, you know, trying to go, you know, aggressively grapple. Whereas Falcao, like, again, Falcao's gonna be the one probably looking to aggressively grapple, probably looking to swing big shots. I think Henry could do a good job of that. Overwhelming Falcao, lets Falcao swing and exhaust himself, fight very uneconomically and stuff, just out there looking for big punches and out there looking for aggressive takedown attempts. And Henry will do a good job of defending those aggressive takedown attempts. He'll do a good job of not getting hit by those big shots and land the cleaner shots, and put the volume, put the pressure, put the pace on Falcao. And I'll say decision. Henry hasn't really shown to be much of a finisher. I think Falcao will keep it interesting. I don't think it's going to be a washable fight by no means, but I do think Henry will be the cleaner, more technical fighter, more polished, more rounded, and that will lead him to be able to, you know, take advantage of the limitations of Falcao's game. So in this one, I have Victor Henry via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the welterweight division, we got McKee versus Daniel Frunza. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence McKee to beat Daniel Frunza. Yeah. I guess third, fourth, fifth time's the charm for McKee, maybe. You can't ever feel too confident picking him, especially now. But going in with Daniel Frunza, I don't feel like Frunza is that amazing of a talent. Especially when I look at his contender series fight. Yes, he won. Yes, I picked against him. But he was getting watched by a guy that's literally just swinging with no technique, was dropping him. And then all he did was wait till the guy get tired, just started to stalk him, and went to the body. Like, I'm never going to be impressed by a guy who getting smacked. I can see if you like, where avoiding them, countering them, and cleaning them up, and then you went to the body after they exhausted himself and you were picking them apart. But you getting smacked around the ring, and then pretty much your opponent getting tired, and you go to the body. I'm never going to be impressed by that. Like, hey, if you win that one, you win this one too, is what it is. But I do like McKee here as a underdog as well. He might shift to a favorite, might shift to a bigger underdog. He probably will shift to a bigger underdog given the fact of his history in the UFC. Like, he just has been struggling and has not been able to get a win. But I feel like everybody else he has fought has been much better. Chidi Nzechukwu just came off a very big win. Chidi Nzechukwu definitely know is a very elite striker. But yeah, he obviously lost to Kamala Chimaev. That guy's a beast. I can't really look at, like, I'm not going to go to the record, but I feel like he really hasn't lost to no one that bad at it. And to be quite honest, he hasn't lost to no one nearly as bad as Daniel Frunza. Not to say that Frunza, well, he is bad. I honestly cannot see Frunza being a UFC talent. I can see him getting a win here. I can see him getting maybe another one. But after that point, I feel like he gonna reach his ceiling very quickly, because nothing about skills or anything really strikes me as a guy that's truly UFC level. He get a little bit lucky, but nah. But yeah, as far as this one, Frunza hasn't shown any real grappling. I think he hasn't got like a single takedown. Well, I'm not going to say he hasn't a single takedown, but as far as when you look at his UFC fight, I'm talking too much. I'm talking way too much. But yeah, Frunza is primarily a striker. Haven't really seen too much great grappling from him. No real submission threat. Well-rounded enough, but as far as a threat-wise, offensively, his grappling is no big threat. Defensively, he's not even a good defensive, like as far as defending takedowns. I think Riz McKee's a much cleaner striker. He's a longer fighter. I think he's a more technical striker of the two. I still think this ends up being a very competitive fight, but I think Riz McKee is going to be the cleaner, longer striker. Be able to put out the better strikes, land the cleaner strikes, and put together a better package on the feet and be able to get his hand raised in the decision. I think it'll be competitive, but I think it will be clear. And I think Riz McKee gets his first win in the UFC. And the UFC's definitely been trying to get him a win, so I think he finally gets it. So in this one, I have Riz McKee via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the women's flyweight division, we got Dione Barbosa versus Diana Belbita. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'll go average confidence Dione Barbosa to beat Diana Belbita. And I really wanted to go high confidence on this one. But it is what it is. Like, we're dealing with women's MMA here. You can't really be too confident. In a lot of these fights, to be honest. Are we really dealing with true stars? Like, is Barbosa really going to turn into a star? Potentially. But if I had to bet on it, I would not bet on her being evolving into no elite, like no top 5 future champion. She could, potentially, but I would not bet on it. And that's the type of fights you would like, fighters you would go like high confident on, or truly perfect stylistic matches. But it's close to it. But average is good enough. I might play it like a high confident, but as far as what I'll place it, average confidence on here. Dione Barbosa to beat Diana Belbita. Belbita's coming off a submission loss in the first round to Molly McCann. And that's never a good look. Now you're going in with a true high-level grappler. And Belbita don't really have no upside. She's not really a good striker. She's definitely not a good grappler. I think Barbosa has the heavier hands. Matter of fact, I'll say Barbosa the more technical striker, and she's definitely the more technical grappler. She definitely is a bigger threat on the feet. She has big power, very strong. I think she'll be able to do whatever she wants to in there with Belbita. Maybe press her, crack her with a big overhand, pick her up, throw her to the ground, and tap her out. I think she gets her out in the first round, and I think it's by submission. So yeah, that's to the point. And for this one, I got Dione Barbosa via first round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Davy Grant versus Daniel Santos. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Davy Grant to beat Daniel Santos. So Daniel Santos, I'm not really super impressed with him. He got a lot of heart. He got a lot of grit. He brings that shoot box aura. Like, he got great will, but I feel he doesn't fight with a great, as far as he doesn't really fight with like a game plan. He just goes out there in battles. And I feel like Davy Grant, with all his experience and still showing that he still has life in him, and I feel like he should be the side. I don't see why he's a dog. He probably gonna shift to the favorite, but yeah, Daniel Santos hasn't really shown me nothing in any of his wins. Like, he showed me his heart and his grit, but he didn't show me, based off this, I think he could beat Davy Grant. Based off what I've seen, he has a puncher's chance. Like, he go out there, connect on Davy Grant, turn into a war, and maybe finish Davy Grant or something, or who knows, maybe make it close enough and gets a split decision. But as far as like, if I had to like pick a side, and especially with the value being on Grant, like, I can't see it. I feel like Grant's the much more technical striker, much more experienced. Even though, like, matter of fact, Grant hasn't even been finished in a long time. He's been in there with some real good young guys, with Daniel Marcos, and he arguably won that one. Not even arguably, he should have won that one. I picked Marcos, and I feel like it's very clear. The stats very clear. So he's been in with much more technical fighters, guys with much higher ceilings, and he went out there and arguably beat them, and he has beat some of them. And as far as what Dan Santos is going to bring, he's going to really come out there with no grappling approach and have great grappling success. I don't see it. All I see is Daniel Santos trying to go out there and come with a lot of aggression and hope to connect on Grant. And I think Grant is going to be too tricky on the feet as he has been with, again, much better guys. He went in there with Marlon Vera. Like, he dogged Marlon Vera when Vera first debuted. And then they fought probably like 3-4 years ago. Like, Vera avenged his loss, but it still was a very competitive fight, and Grant was leading early. So yeah, Grant has been in with a lot of solid fighters. I can't really recall any recent fights in the past 3-4 years where Grant has just flat out got washed. I can't recall it. And he has been fighting Marlon Vera, who's been a long time, at least top 7 fighter for like the past 6-7 years. So he's been a top fighter for a long time. Marlon Vera, he went in there and had a competitive fight with him. Daniel Marcos, a guy that's clearly has great potential, is still undefeated and going to continue to climb the ranks. Had a good competitive fight that he arguably won against him. So he's been fighting good guys still at this stage. And I feel like Santos' approach is going to be too limited. And Grant's already, in matter of fact, Grant's last opponent, what was he trying to do? He was just trying to connect on him, hoping to use his boxing to land on him. And Grant, mixing the inside leg kicks, outside leg kicks, the body kicks, and then allow his opponent to have a one-track minded approach on him because he was so diverse. And Grant might even mix in some grappling as well. His grappling is very underrated. Where I feel like, again, Santos primarily just going to be out there looking for the home run hitter, looking to be aggressive, and Grant's not going to allow that. He's going to be chopping legs down, switching stances, catch him coming in with shots. Yeah, I just feel like Davy Grant is too polished, and I just feel like Santos is really going to come in there with a lack of a game plan. So, yeah. In this one, I got Davy Grant via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the flyweight division, we got Gurule versus Osbourne. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going, let me see, back to Cali. But yeah, as far as one, I'm going low confidence Gurule to beat Osbourne. Yeah, I just feel like the writing is in the sand. The proof is in the pudding, however you want to say it. But yeah, I'm going Gurule to win here. I feel like Osbourne like 12-9. Don't quote me on that, but he's basically got like 9 losses. I feel like Gurule undefeated, hungry. It's not like he's this undefeated fighter who's like 25, 24. He's like 31, 32, undefeated. And yeah, like it's different levels undefeated. I'm not saying like he's just the cream de la creme, but these undefeated guys that are like 24, 23, they haven't hit puberty yet. They more naive, they're more susceptible to lose and stuff. Whereas these like 31, 32-year-old undefeated fighters, like they don't have the same window, or their window is not as big. Their window of opportunity is not as big. Like it's win or go home basically here. Like he could afford a loss a little bit, but again, those 24-year-olds, they usually take these losses more. Like undefeated 24-year-olds, they might feel like you have all these potential, but a lot of these guys drop losses, and then like when they hit their 30s, they get it together, or they hit their late 20s, they get it together. But again, Gurule is already 31, 32. This guy probably got a wife and kids and grandkids. I'm exaggerating, but those type of undefeated fighters, they can't afford to lose. He's going to Osbourne, who again is back against the wall, and I feel like Gurule is composed and polished enough. He's shown good takedown defense. He's shown good boxing. He's shown good cardio. I feel like Osbourne is a guy that's pretty inconsistent. Like he can have little flashes here, but I feel like his cardio has consistently faded in fights. He has consistently choked in fights, and I feel like Gurule could beat him a lot of ways. I just feel like Gurule got more dog in him. Gurule's better over the rounds. He has better momentum, hungrier, sharper, and I think all that would carry him to a win. I think he'll be able to push the pace on Osbourne. I think it'll be a good little early start, back and forth. Osbourne probably winning the early 1.5, but I think Gurule will be able to have a stronger other half of the fight. And I think eventually he puts Osbourne away, third round. Just continue to swarm Osbourne as he fades, rip him to the body, not giving room to breathe, and then being able to put him away in the third. Could see a sub there as well, but I'll say third round TKO for Gurule. So in this one, I got Gurule via third round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Robert Valentin versus Torres Finney. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Torres Finney to beat Robert Valentin. And yeah, I'm probably always going to be low confidence in Torres Finney unless he gets a perfect personal. But yeah, Torres Finney, I just don't really see a high ceiling for him. But if he goes far, it is what it is. I will be happy for him. But that is my personal opinion that no one asked for. But I think he beats Valentin. I don't feel like Valentin shown great takedown defense or great grappling in his last fight. Torres Finney is like a weird build. He's like a very short but wide dude, but he's very strong. Very limited striking. But I think he'll be able to, fight to his style here against Valentin. If Valentin was a guy that, had such, was a real good wrestler or just a real well-rounded fighter, that maybe a striker that just had great takedown defense, great anti-wrestling, and could strike real well, that'd probably be a nice match. But Valentin ain't that great of a striker. His submission grappling is very weak, and Torres Finney can exploit that. And Torres Finney can get his own, handle himself on the feet here against Valentin as well. But yeah, I think Torres Finney's gonna fight his style. He's gonna look to throw some big overhands, look to crowd his space, pick him up, impose his physicality on it, and also exploit the weakness in grappling that Valentin has. And I'll say it results in a second round sub for Finney. Just posing as well, not giving him space, cracking him, getting up underneath him, putting him on the ground, dropping ground and pound on him, and ultimately getting that second round submission. So in this one, I have Torres Finney via second round submission. Now to our next fight, we have in the middleweight division, we got Meerschaert versus Brad Tavares. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going low confidence Brad Tavares to beat Meerschaert. But yeah, really just like a battle between two veterans. and they both have been consistent. Brad Tavares has, consistently been top 2, if not top 1. At points, he was top 1 best takedown defense in middleweight history. I still think at this point he's still at least top 3, top 4, definitely top 5 as far as takedown defense. And he has shown good takedown defense in pretty much every single fight outside of the Yoel Romero fight. That's the only fight where his takedown defense got exploited in that one fight. But I can't think of anyone else who has exploited his takedown defense other than Yoel Romero, Olympic silver medalist wrestler and freakish phenom. But yeah, I think Tavares is the much more clean striker. You always got to worry about his chin, but it's not like Meerschaert has been a consistent knockout guy. He's been a consistent upsetter, like he also upset some people. But yeah, I think Brad Tavares will be able to keep this one standing, win the clinch battle too. So do a good job of spinning takedown. Then when Meerschaert, I guess, fails the takedown, try to turn this to a clinch, I think Tavares do a good job of turning around, landing knees in the clinch, landing elbows, disengaging, and going back, getting back to distance, chopping Meerschaert's legs up, working on a jab, and it's been a much more fundamentally sound striker. And again, a guy that has been a consistent guy at, a consistent anti-grappler. I think his anti-grappler, I guess, perk or I guess his anti-grappler style will, an anti-grappler trend will persist, and I think he wins here. Could see a stoppage, but I say more so decision. And also, Brad Tavares has more really hasn't been much of a finisher. I think he has 20 fights, maybe 10, 13 wins. I think 3 of them have been stoppages. So, and continue with that trend. Continue to be a good anti-grappler. Continue to win as an anti-grappler against grapplers. And the trend of not really being much of a finisher will continue. So, yeah, in this one, I got Brad Tavares via decision. Now to our next fight. We have in the heavyweight division, we got Kennedy Nzechukwu versus Martin Buday. And how do I feel about this one right here? I'm going average confidence Kennedy Nzechukwu to beat Martin Buday. I feel like Kennedy Nzechukwu just really found his weight class. He has a big enough frame. He's a growing boy, and I think he can, if he, keeps bodybuilding, I'll say strength and conditioning, and eating right, and eating good protein intakes. He's going to continue to get bigger and stronger into the weight class. And again, he's not like he's not like he was a light heavyweight that was 6'1" or 6 feet or 5'11". He's 6'4". He got a 84-inch reach, 83-inch reach. So he has the size and the frame for it. And he was young enough to build into this weight class. He's still young enough that he's going to keep building, get bigger, get stronger, get more technical. In a division that's, the least technical division in the sport, as far as in the men's divisions. And that's no insult to heavyweight. That's is what it is. What am I trying to say? Gymnasts are midgets. They're little guys and women that 5'2", 4'11", 4'8". So you're gonna be more technical. You're gonna be able to do more things when you're shorter and smaller versus a big frame person. And Nzechukwu had the benefits of being able to have a good lengthy time at light heavyweight, dealing with more technical guys, faster guys. Now he's going up here and he's dealing with the lower tier heavyweights who he has height over still, he has length over, faster, quicker, pretty much every advantage. And he dealt with faster, quicker guys. And at light heavyweight, a lot of guys the same length is these heavyweights. They might not be as physically strong, but again, I'm yapping too much. But yeah, to get to the point on this one, Buday has a very limited game plan. He's just a low tier wall installer. I think Nzechukwu has more than enough to deal with that low tier wall install. And, he's going to be able to get himself off the cage, pick apart Buday, and get him out of there second round via TKO. I think he'll continue to put away these low tier heavyweights. And I think he'll do a good job of dealing with Buday's low tier wall install. Buday didn't even really win his last fight. So, yeah, I think Nzechukwu will do a good job of pulling off the cage, pushing the pace, not allowing Buday just to fight a lazy, low tier wall install fight. And now allow Buday to just get these little weak breathers in there and not really have any effective offense. And I think he'll be able to put away Buday. And he also go win the decision too, because it's not like Buday's really doing anything effective. He's really just holding against the cage, throw some little weak knees to the body, little slappy punches that's not doing nothing. So, but I do think Nzechukwu puts him away. I think he'll do a good job of not getting pushed against the cage, reversing position, disengaging, and landing the much more effective offense. Take advantage of his speed, take advantage of the technical advantage, take advantage of everything, and putting away Buday in the second round. So, in this one, I have Kennedy Nzechukwu via second round TKO. Now to our next fight, we have in the bantamweight division, we got Romious versus Chang Ho Lee. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going, let me see. Should I go Chang Ho Lee or should I go Romious? I'll roll the dice. I'll go low confidence Romious to beat Chang Ho Lee. By no means is Romious a guy, a reliable guy. I'll probably regret this one, but I'm probably not going to bet on it, so I'm not going to regret it that much. But I'll go Romious. You know, just throw a dog in there to beat Chang Ho Lee. Chang Ho Lee, I don't really feel like... I feel like Romious is a much more talented fighter, a much more technical fighter. I feel like Chang Ho Lee, he's just relentless. Lacking his skill, but he's just pretty much relentless. He just has... he's just tenacious. That might be all he needs. But I'll say this goes to like a controversial close split decision. I think Romious will be more talented, more athletic, more dynamic. But Ho Lee probably gonna make it close competitive because he's gonna keep he's gonna like be that little engine, the little train. I mean, what am I saying? I think I can. I know I can. That's pretty much all he's gonna be like. No great power, no great size, no great speed, no great power, just great heart. Trains well, but not exceptional by any means. But he's just gonna have exceptional heart. And I think Romious probably gonna be landing the better takedowns early, landing better strikes throughout, faster, quicker. But Ho Lee just gonna be pushing. But it ends up being like when these close splits, like Romious early, Chang Ho Lee late. Some little questionable things there. Was that a takedown? Was that a takedown? Or did he really get rocked by this or whatever? You know, it's gonna be one of those fights. But I think Romious ekes it out. So in this one, I got Romious via decision. Now to our next fight, we have in the co-main event, we have in the featherweight division, we got Joanderson Brito versus Pat Sabatini. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Pat Sabatini to beat Joanderson Brito. And yeah, I'm forgetting what I'm about to. What's the guy name? JSP, Jonathan Pierce. Not his name, Jonathan Pierce. But I'm just gonna say JSP. I don't know his exact name. I'm forgetting his exact name. But they both have a similar opponent. They both beat him by submission. But there's very big differences between those fights. But yeah, Brito versus Sabatini. I'm going low confidence Sabatini to beat Joanderson Brito. And yeah, it definitely all goes back to both of their JSP fights. So Sabatini is coming fresh off a win over JSP. And Brito's last win was over GSP. Then he lost a controversial decision to William Gomes that I think he rightfully lost, but close loss to William Gomes. But they both beat, again, GSP, which I'm on. Factor this whole fight based on, or my whole prediction off, is that fight that they both fought against GSP. In the GSP fight with Brito was getting dominated in the grappling by JSP till JSP started getting cocky, talking trash, and then I think he was able to snap on a guillotine or he snapped on something. I don't know what his guillotine was, like a choke. I forget it was what the Zach submission was, but I believe it was a guillotine. After JSP got a little too cocky, he was talking trash to him. He was able to get the submission, but he was getting dominated in the grappling department by JSP. Whereas Pat Sabatini took JSP down with little effort and tapped him out with little effort. Like he dominated him in the grappling department. So Pat Sabatini is clearly the better grappler of the two. And I'm going to think Pat Sabatini gets a submission. I'm going to say second round submission. I think he's going to be the much better grappler. I do worry about Sabatini's striking and durability. But seeing how Brito really didn't have much of an answer for JSP, I think Sabatini's... And also, it's not like Sabatini's one of the grapplers that don't have wrestling. He has very good wrestling, very good submission ability. It's just his striking and his durability that come into mind. And Brito could definitely take advantage of that, but I feel as far as similar opponents, I think Sabatini will be, take note of that, and I think he'll be able to exploit that against Brito. And I feel like Brito's matter of fact, has Brito ever really shown great takedown defense? Not really. So, and it's not like Brito really comes with a great game plan. He's just very aggressive. And didn't William Gomes even take him down too? So, a lot of questionable things happened in his last couple fights. His last two fights. So, I think I think Brito's approach is going to be too obvious. I think Sabatini's going to be either pressure with his wrestling and get him with the takedown, or whether Brito comes in swinging and trying to be explosive and ends up on bottom. And I think Sabatini's going to be able to wear him out on top, drop ground and pound on him, break him down, and I see a second round submission for Pat Sabatini. So in this one, I got Pat Sabatini. Also, Brito also fades in fights as well. So yeah, all the things going to factor in Sabatini beating him. Like Brito probably come out aggressive, maybe have a little bit of success, but Sabatini, once he gets him down, is going to be wearing him down. break him down on top. Brito's going to be fading and getting broken down. Be a little more slow, a little more labored. Takedowns will come easier. And Sabatini is going to be right on him like a snake or like feathers, like duck feathers on glue. And be able to wear him down, get that second round sub. So in this one, I got Pat Sabatini via second round submission. Now to our main event, we have in the featherweight division, we got Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. And how do I feel about this one right here? Is I'm going low confidence Lerone Murphy to beat Josh Emmett. And yeah, very close competitive fight on paper. But yeah, I'm going Lerone Murphy. Emmett is in his 40s. Never was particularly a great fighter. He was a good, okay fighter, but great. Yeah, it's very fair to say that he definitely was never no great fighter. He got a good punch, very limited offense on the feet. Doesn't really mix in the grappling too much. Also, it doesn't help that he's 40. When you're 40, the grappling pressure and pace and success really drops a whole lot. Unless that's like really your bread and butter, and even then it drops a lot. So in this one, he really just going to be looking for that big shot. And Murphy does got a bit of questionable chin, so that does kind of make this fight easy to bet, kind of. Like, you could bet the under, you could bet the under, you could bet the KO prop, because Murphy could get a finish here as well. But if Emmett wins, it's more than likely. If Emmett wins, like a 99% chance it's going to be by knockout. It ain't going to be by subs, 99% it's going to be by knockout. Or 100% chance it's going to be in the distance if Emmett wins. So you could maybe play in the distance, the unders, and if Emmett does win, it's going to hit. But yeah, Lerone Murphy, I just think he's the younger fighter. Not that young. He's like 33, turning 34 this year, I believe. So it's now or never for him. Emmett, he had his time. I don't think he's going to come back. He's definitely not rewinding the clock, in my opinion. I think Murphy's going to be the much cleaner striker. Emmett's going to be out there looking for these big overhands, these big hooks. And Murphy's going to be sticking with the jab, the front kick. By no means do I think this is going to be an easy fight for Murphy. Again, it's low confidence, but I think Murphy will be the cleaner, polished, quicker, more technical striker out there. And also, I think he'll be the one mixing the grappling. Got to worry about that guillotine, but I think he'll do a good job of passing to half guard and shutting off the guillotine. Maybe even jumping to side control to shut off the guillotine. But full mixed martial arts fight, but I definitely think Lerone Murphy's going to be the one dictating the fight more. Emmett's going to be the one looking for, he's going to be looking for the home runs. He's going to be looking for the guillotine when Murphy looks to level change or duck or go for a takedown. He's going to be the one looking for subs and looking for big hooks, looking for big overhands. Big, it's big shots. Whereas Murphy's going to be looking for the clean, polished stuff. Chewing the legs up, slamming teeps to the body, stepping knees to the body, clenching them up, elbows, jabs, straights, hooks. Like, he's going to be the one mixing it up more. And that's going to lead to his victory. Emmett's going to be dangerous throughout, but Murphy's going to be to break him down. I could see a stoppage here, but I'll say decision. I might bet under, might bet the KO prop. But as far as prediction, I'll say Murphy just fights a clean, technical fight. And Emmett has shown to be tough. The only fight that he's really been stopped, he's been stopped. He's been stopped like one time in this weight class. And that was it was a questionable one. He hit when they were one of the hardest hitters in Jeremy Stevens. And I think there was like a legal knee that they just didn't count. So it was a lot of things. He did get fairly dropped, but he got hit with a follow-up illegal knee that led to that helped in aiding him getting stopped. But yeah, to the point, I just think Murphy's gonna be the younger, cleaner, hungrier, more polished fighter, and just take advantage of Emmett looking for those home run hitters, and just get the small but important shots off consistently and effectively. And I think he beats Emmett in a decision here. So in this one, I have Lerone Murphy via decision. And so that concludes my fight predictions for the 4-card fights for UFC Fight Night, Emmett versus Murphy. Thanks for watching. Like, comment, and subscribe, and come back for more videos. Peace.